10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
It already
We're
says live, I
live.
think.
Welcome to the live show with George Lambert in the, I don't know which corner that would be. To me, it's the upper left-hand corner. Chris
Yeah.
Watson,
Yep.
antidote of a houndsman, upper right-hand corner. John in the lower right-hand corner. Uncle Johnny Papa. Uncle Papa Johnny.
John.
I got dyslexia. And of course, here I am. I made it again. So what's going on with everybody?
Let's go to George. He's the one that's been absent, missing in action, big time in it.
Oh, yeah, podcasting, just so busy. I mean, next thing you know, it's going to be, he's going to be on Fox News or something.
Yeah.
Meat eater. He'll be up there with Clay Newcomb, yeah. Riding mules and
don't get
shooting
me started
squirrels.
on those guys.
Talking about acorns.
Acorns or acorns. All right. So where you been, George? What's going on?
I mean, they're all right. I have did a little bit of work, but I will be honest, I've did a lot of hunting lately. Chasing bears. Our Virginia season is over, but well, our Virginia chase season is over. But West Virginia is we're wide open right there right now. So the bears are fat and somewhat plentiful. I mean, a lot of times you got to walk to find them, but we're treeing. Oh shoot, I think I've treed 2 a day for the last probably 10 hunts. It's been a lot of bear.
How's your weather? Is it hot there right now? It's hot here.
Our weather is beautiful right now. We're having last week we was down in the teens at night, but our average here is probably 20s and 30s, sometimes 40s in the mornings, and then it's topping out 60 something. So it's beautiful weather for there.
Yeah, we got a real cold wave through, and then this week shouldn't be this hot in November.
It's 85 degrees here today.
Oh, I think it was 70 here, 70 something.
Okay, we got our first question for George.
Oh, I seen that.
Hey, I've been in the woods so much, y'all have to give me information.
Well, basically what I'm understanding, and I seen the first page of it, but man, they're wanting to charge us for a permit now if you've got hounds in Virginia or hunting dogs that are off leash, and also they're wanting identification letters or numbers on the side of the dog to be visible from both sides at least 3 inches tall. While hunting.
Yeah, that's a guy did give me a call about some of that, and basically, long story short, that was a proposal, but as of right now, and don't hold me to know this, but as of right now, it was just a proposal only, and it's nothing to worry about right now in Virginia. They said they put that out there as just to make houndsmen aware of what lengths it could possibly go, but like I say, as far as the DWR, as far as they have no plans with following through with that as of right now. So, who knows what?
Who's that coming from? Is that coming
What's
from
that?
the anti? Like, where's that coming? Who's that? Who's proposing this? Where is this coming from?
Yeah, so here in Virginia right now, we're having a big thing. Long story short, and there's a lot of people that could tell you a lot more about this than me, but the little bit that they've kept me up to date on it is it's the landowners versus houndsmen, basically. Landowners complaints about having dogs on their property, retrieval issues, all that, and then of course the houndsmen, they want to be able to keep the right to retrieve. They want to be able to hunt. So they're in the process of there's stakeholders on the houndsman side. There's stakeholders on the basically on the landowner side, and they're just getting together. I'm not sure how many more meetings they got, but the meetings are designed to try to figure out what they can do to make everybody happy. So whether that'll happen or not,
That's
yeah,
the homeowners wanting to know that 254 dogs are running across their property, whose it belongs to, so
yes,
they can whine and complain. 254 dog running across my property again. Oh, George Lampert running wild.
yeah.
Supposed to be at work.
Well, and like I say, absolute worst case scenario, and this, I feel pretty confident that it's not going to get to this, but just what they're saying that if it would ever come to the and not right now, as of right now, it's not going to come to this, but if it would ever come down to it where you could be criminalized of trespassing by your dog, by ownership of your dog, you basically, long story short, if they would get a picture of your hound, then would it be possible for them to write you up for trespassing? Just your hound only,
Hmm.
So,
Well,
but that's
it's
what they're kind of trying to make aware.
in Virginia. There's really just that, as far as I know, there's just that one guy that's made a lot of trouble over, right? The guy that does the videos for his farm. He moved in here from somewhere.
Yeah, and he's actually not even in Virginia. The what is it called?
Oh, I thought he
Goldshaw
was.
Farm. No,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he
he's
was.
he's up north of a few states. It's a couple states up.
Oh, I really thought he
So
was in Virginia.
no, he's not in Virginia. So um, like I say, so hopefully something will be resolved in all this, and we can get back to life. So I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm.
It's
I
been
know it's got a bunch of
interesting.
people. It's got a bunch of people up in arms. I know that. So.
I bet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
And I
bet.
see. I mean, honestly, I see all sides of it. I mean, I if you look at the helmsman far as us, I don't want to. If I where I hunt, I have zero phone service. Um, most of the private property that is around me is owned by people out of state. That's camps or so. I reckon. Long story short, what I'm saying is if my dogs go on a piece of property, half the time there's no way I could contact them, even if I spent all day trying. There's no way. It would take me hours and hours to
You have to
contact somebody just to ask to get my dog.
drive for
Well,
hours to use the phone.
if you have to put numbers on a dog, then those guys who are whining about trespassing should have to mark their property every 90 foot. Arizona's every 90 foot with a no
Right.
trespassing sign with a phone number on it.
That's the
Right.
way it is here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the way it's going to come to Virginia. We'll see how all this plays out.
Hmm.
So,
I think in Virginia, as long as you've got one sign up, your place is posted.
You guys got
uh,
color coding? You got color coding? I think New Mexico's purple, ain't it, Brett?
I don't know
Arizona's
anything
orange,
about
or-
color coding.
It
If you
used
have,
to be. It used to be silver here, but I've not heard anybody doing any markings for a while.
I think, I don't know, maybe Arizona, one of them's orange, one of them's purple. But if you mark it every 90 feet, paint your T-post or whatever purple or
Oh no,
orange.
ours has to have this sign, and the sign
Oh.
has to say the statute and the phone number and who owns the land, all this crap, and but we have a lot of public land. I mean, we really do. A guy really shouldn't, and I mean, if you're hunting the way I do on a mule, and I usually don't have any trouble. I got permission to go just about everywhere. They're happy to see me come. Matter of fact, I was just talking to a guy this morning. Has a ranch out here in the desert, and there's these little sets of little rocky. I mean, they're just barren, rocky hills out there. I mean, they go up pretty high, and they have some bluffs up in the top of top of them. And I just went out there to exercise the dogs and get them out. And sure enough, they started trailing. And I called him, and because there's little pieces of private, but he's the rancher, I know him. And I called him. I said, hey, I said, man, I said, have your cowboys been out and about and seen any lion sign? And he said, no. He said, but there was a guy out there harvesting, I forget what is it, how do you say it, Ocotillo?
Ocotillo.
Yeah. And he said he's seen a lion. He said there's always a little female lion in those hills. But I was pretty surprised. But yeah, he said, no. He said, you don't ever have to call me. You just go wherever you want to go. He said, matter of fact, come stay at the house. So.
Well, tell us what Ocotillo is or whatever.
Tell him, Chris.
Oh, Ocotillo. Is there anywhere he was? It's those big old spiny. They have about 15, 20 just spikes sticking out, and they're all spiny. You didn't see none of those?
What would you harvest that for?
I don't know what that guy was doing. He sells it.
Well, I tell you, we can't do it in Arizona. We can't cut it, or I'd have a fence around on my horses with it. But the leaves you can make tea out of.
Let me see if I can do this, guys. Let me try
Pull
this.
up a picture.
If I knew how to spell Ocotillo, there it is. By golly.
Yeah, Ocotillo. I would harvest it and build me a good goat pen out of it or something. They're just real spiny. I put it under my daughter's windows too. That's what I'm gonna plan under my daughter's window is Cholla and Ocotillo.
That's a pretty good.
You guys don't know Cholla. Did you see any Cholla out there? You probably didn't see that Cholla I got, but I think your guys. I don't think I've seen different.
The Cholla comes off in balls too, though, right? Like,
let me see if I can do this without getting into trouble here.
I've seen you pull it off your dogs before, Chris.
No, sounds like Velcro. If you take a lighter, I've done it on private property. There you go. That's a full bloom one there.
I'm getting good at this stuff right here.
Now I think I may have seen some of that there, but it wasn't a bunch of them like it. It was like
probably
spinally cactus.
Dead when you seen it.
No, that's a good one there.
Well, the dead ones I seen were full of holes. It looked almost like coral.
Yeah.
No, that was Cholla.
Cholla.
But this didn't have balls on it.
Yeah.
Though, like what I've seen to you.
No, it was dead. If it looked like kind of like a skeleton or something, it's probably.
Well, no, there was some of that, but I seen green too. There was some that's still alive. There was plenty that was alive.
Let's talk for a minute. I learned something the other day. I was listening to the Houndsman XP podcast, and they were talking about hunting in groups, something like that. I forget the guy who had the podcaster. And bear hunting. And they were talking about things that I never realized guys do. Like, George, do you hunt in a group? I mean, is there several people who hunt with you?
Family.
Not most of, well, it depends.
Family, mainly.
It kind of depends on the definition of group. Like, usually, for the last month or so that I've been hunting, it's been me, my dad, and then an older fella that he drives in a separate truck and rides over there. And if it's just me by myself hunting, then if I have to take a long walk, he'll pick me up, drive me back to my truck, or if my dog's split, he helps me keep up with the dogs or however. And then sometimes in the winter, yes, we will hunt with, it'll be me with my set of dogs, and then a lot of times my uncle and my cousin will hunt, with a set of dogs. So I don't know. I didn't hear that podcast. So what was it? What was the question?
Well, they're just talking about, groups of guys getting together. Some of them have dogs. Some of them don't even have dogs, but they still have like a drive track or a Garmin so they can track the dogs. And then just how they hunt, I guess running off of baits. Of course, I don't know anything about that. And then rigging, and then packing dogs. After they run the bear so far, they send more dogs in. That's all new stuff to me. I start out in the morning with a set of dogs, and hopefully that evening I come in with a set of dogs.
That's the way
Yeah.
we hunt. We can't run off a bait, and we don't run off a bait, but that's the way we hunt. We a lot of times be several trucks, and some of the places we hunt, you have to be able to keep. Somebody has to be able to get there to head the dogs off if they're heading to
That's
a really heavy traffic area, or at least let people know that slow down. A reason to slow down. We got dogs crossing the road or something like that. So yeah, that's the way. That's the way the group that I hunt, that I always hunted with, has to hunt. Here, you have to have several people to have a successful, safe hunt.
and they're
Right.
all
So
they're all running on radios,
yeah,
and
Right.
they have different groups have different frequencies that they use on their radios, I guess. So
yeah.
it's a lot more
Right.
high tech than I realized. Of course, I've never done that. I don't know anything about it. Have you ever hunted like that, Chris?
90% of the time I am alone, but if the only people that hunt with me, and it's hard for me to hunt when I got two trucks behind me, but most of them don't have dogs that do anything. So they're waiting for me. And then once I let go, and I usually do the rig, let go. And then if I don't catch nothing, they don't let them go. But if I do get a tree, like this next video, you'll see a bunch of dogs that ain't mine there, but it's just a guy that he comes along for his dogs to be at a tree, get under
Get
a tree.
trained up, yeah.
But 90% of the time, man, maybe that's why I'm not as successful, because I don't have like Kirk Price where they have 8 side by sides out there and there's a guy a mile up the road across the hill. You know what I mean? I don't have that. I do use
Yeah.
radios, but when I'm by myself, even I have a radio and I leave a radio on in my truck. So
Well, you got
I
to
get
have
out there and break my leg, you know.
a
I
really
don't
good
have
road system too, don't you? I mean,
the unit I hunt's full of roads. So
yeah,
I know where they're going,
yeah.
but I don't know. I'm not the best bear hunter either. I'm not 100% a bear hunter.
Well, you got a
You know,
bear
we've talked
climbing over
about it.
top of your head there.
Yeah. That was that little one, and that's that yucky dog, One dog treed that bear. But, and then my dad's dogs treed the last bears that he lost. Like he let him go and he took off, lost him on his GPS, came back to camp, went to find him, picked up again, went to walk in to see what they were doing, and they had 2 boars treed. And they don't treat stuff on their own. You know what I mean? They're desert dogs. So then we went in there, one jumped, we sent our dogs in, got it treed,
Well, how many dogs do you put on the ground at a time? You get a rig. Okay, you get a good rig. How many
Mhm.
dogs do you put down?
If it's a good rig, if it's a blow up rig, I let them all go. But you can tell. But if it's dirty rigging and I let dirty down, and if he takes off a certain way, I'll let 2 off the rig down. I'll let 3 of them go, 4 of them go. But the most I have by myself is 9, and 3 or 4 are puppies. They're
Just
younger.
tagging along, yeah.
Yes.
How about you, George? What do you put down? How does your typical
Uh,
day go? You're rigging, you're driving and rigging bears, right?
so it depends on time of the year. It's getting here in Virginia right now. It's starting. I'm rigging a lot of bears, but some days I'm having to walk. So if it's one of them days, as in the other day, I rode for a little bit that morning, never hit a track. So I probably put like 10 dogs on the ground with me and just took off walking.
Just free casting through the woods.
I hunt. I'm pretty lucky to have all mine broke enough where I wouldn't call them broke, but they're broke enough where I can leave them loose. So
Bent.
yeah, so exactly. So yeah, as in the last, I don't know how many days, I'll just start walking, and then usually you'll have I got a couple older dogs that'll start trailing, and then I'll leave them all loose, and whatever dogs feel like they can hang in there with the dogs trailing, I give them an opportunity to just go with them, and
What's
then
your
usually they'll get it jumped, and then lately, like I say, I've been having a lot of split trees. So
What's your favorite way to hunt? I mean, do you like to free cast better than you do rig, or does it matter?
Yeah, that's my pick. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy a good rig, because if I'm driving to wherever I'm going hunting and the box just explodes or whatever, I do like that. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I'm more in touch with the dogs when I'm actually in the
Mm,
woods walking. Yeah,
I love free casting. Free casting's better for me, I think.
I
right.
can't stand to sit in a vehicle and drive around. It just drives me crazy. I get sleepy.
If
I
you
get
Well,
got a
tired.
lot of bears, it's good. But
and
some
also
days,
I know for me personally, like I cannot stand being in the truck. But if I got a good road system where I can be in action constantly, if it's a
Uh,
lot of roads, where me busy where dogs are getting close to a dirt road or they're crossing dirt roads and I can catch dogs, put more dogs in, it's action packed, then I don't, I can stand being in the truck. But if it's one of them days where you got to sit in one spot and stare at your GPS and you can't
that's
hear
yeah.
no dog, that ain't
mm,
for me. Yeah,
That's kind of what I got the impression that a lot of them had these drive tracks or whatever, and that they could dump their dogs, and then they could watch that drive track, and they could see where the dogs were headed and what was going, and I mean, it just wouldn't be what I like to do. I call it cheating. When I have to get out my Garmin and look at it, I always say, well, I'm going to cheat because usually it's because I'm bluffed up or I'm having a heck of a trash race.
yeah, I
I
usually
know
look
uh,
at it
George.
just to see what they're running. You can tell what they're running by how they run too.
I don't.
right.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. If I have to look at that thing, they're usually running trash because the lion track is not that
Yep.
fast.
But
Friday,
I bet you George will tell you that he really appreciates a good truck man too, when he's out walking.
100%.
Oh, someone to
Oh,
go
There,
pick you up.
Somebody
oh
pick you
my
yeah.
up. Somebody be there. Somebody be there to pick you up. Somebody be there if you get a dog comes out on one of the roads. Because sometimes you especially if you got young dogs and you're free casting, you're gonna get dogs lost. And when they come to the
yeah,
road, it's good to have a guy there to pick them up.
a perfect example is Friday. Friday, I took a walk and the dogs started trailing and they trailed directly away from the road. So I just kind of, and they was slow. I mean, they was just, it would almost remind you of like some of the line tracks that y'all have out there. But so I was just walking with them, and before I knew it, I was a couple miles in, and the dogs got hung up on some cliffs. So I ended up having to drop way down in the bottom and help them get through the cliffs.
Hmm.
They got through the cliffs, started trailing really good then, and they left me. They was out of GPS range, out of just gone.
Hmm.
And it took me probably an hour to climb up on this big ridge where I could start picking them up, and I got back in radio range of my older buddy that was in the truck, and the dogs had done split 4 separate ways. So it was, speaking of truck man, I was so glad I had him because he ended up, I had no idea where half the dogs was, but since the dogs left that country, and it took me a couple hours to get back out of there, and he by the time I got out, he had done roughly rounded up a couple and let me know where the dogs was, and he had actually ended up already walked to one tree and got the dogs, and I didn't even know it.
Oh wow.
So having a good truck man is so handy.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. And I've had to. I mean, I've come out in places where I've had to have the guy who used to work with me. I called him a few times and said, "Hey,
Come get me.
yeah, come get me."
Yeah,
So,
when you're on a mule, you get a little further than you want sometimes before you realize, oh man, you
well,
know.
when I was up in the mountain, well, even to this place I went just last week, but when I lived up there, I mean, there was lots of times where I didn't get in till 10, 11 o'clock at night. But there's no roads. I mean, there was no way for anybody to come pick me up. You just head back home, wear
I
yourself out.
remember a particular instance. One day I was hunting by myself, and I started a bear on one mountain. He'd come across the main road, went to another mountain. I went back to my truck, drove around. Anyway, I found them and they was treed on the midways down the mountain. So where I was, I either had to drive an hour and a half to get around below them, or I was just going to walk from the top, drop down and get them and come back up, which that wasn't that bad. So that's what I did. I parked the truck there. I walked down, and of course, it's one of them instances where the bear bails out. So before I knew it, by the end of the day, I was miles from my truck, right beside another highway with zero phone service, and nobody knew where I was. So I had to leave that highway and walk through the rough country all the way back to my truck.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen you on your mule lately. What's up with that?
I've been hunting a lot of other guys' dogs for them, and and to give them dogs the attention they need. And then, of course, a lot of them they're not around or familiar with mules and horses, so I just take one for the team and walk. So yeah, it's basically the dogs are fine with the mules, but the handling aspect is what they're lacking on. And when I say handling, most of the time when I hunt other people's dogs, when for the first week or two, you got to keep them on a lead strap most of the time.
Really?
And if you do happen to tree a bear, it's not like you're going to be able to get them off a tree. Or if you're ready to go back to the truck, if you hit another track, a lot of these other people's dogs, like you can't call them off a track or anything. Them dogs are just gone. So it usually takes a couple weeks to get them where they'll handle like my own personal dogs.
Handle good enough where you can handle them off of a mule.
Off of a mule, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I mean, I've got some young dogs that I've been messing with, but I mean, because my other dogs handle and listen to me, and the younger dogs just kind of fall in with them, with whatever's going on. And it hasn't been taking very long. I have lost a couple dogs. Well, I didn't lose them. They lost me, and then they went back. One female she went back to the truck, and when I got back, I could tell on the GPS that she was back at the truck. The other one, I was just out from the house, and he was one of those running walkers, and I don't know why he got sidetracked and ended up going back to the house there. So, but
some of these young dogs that I work with and stuff, people like they have no idea what a tone is for, or any. You holler for them, they don't know what that means. Half the time, I can't even catch them.
Oh, they don't put a foundation on them then.
There's most of them. There's zero foundation. One of the last ones that I've got right now, I've had it for about 2 weeks, and it took me about a day and a half to get it out of my truck. So yeah.
What is that? I mean, I don't want to. Is that typical of a lot of bear hunters, that they don't put a big handle on their dogs? They let them out of the truck and they run a bear dong, and then they snap a leash on them, drag them back to the truck. It's all right to say the truth.
You say you have a friend that told you so.
It's the truth. I know bear hunters that I know a bear hunter that he won't shock his dog off a deer. He'll tone him, but he won't shock him. And that dog runs anything that's hot. You can be running a bear and run that bear through a deer bed, and he'll cut off and follow the deer track. So,
but how about just put in basic, a recall and just basic handling where they just listen to you?
Now here in Virginia, the mindset of a lot of the hunters is you take your puppies out, you keep them, you'll have them on a leash strap. If they go with the other dogs, great. If they don't, they go back in the truck. There there's not much handling skills to a lot of these dogs here in Virginia. Now, like I say, even the ones that the one that I was talking about personally here right now, no, actually the owner of him is actually a pretty good bear hunter. And he actually told me that if I didn't want to fool with that pup, not to worry about it, he would mess with it. But I told him to send it with me anyway. I didn't care. So for me, I enjoy seeing the way they are when they come to me, and then usually a month later when I send them back, hopefully, they're like a brand new dog.
Oh, that's yeah,
So
cool.
and honestly, Easton does a lot of that. Not that he's intentionally doing anything, but he does a lot of that work for me, just going out there and playing with them.
Kids make a
And
big difference.
Well,
yeah,
my grandson, that's what he, because I've been having to be gone so much, that's what he does. I mean, I got three. Well, I had a lot more pups than that. I sold quite a few of them, but that was his job every day. Get them out of those kennels, and then work with socializing them, and then the cheating method of teaching them to go get back in their pen, because all my dogs will go get back in their pen. And
right,
by feeding them and telling them to get in,
Yep.
feed them
right,
and just reinforce, get in, feed them, get in. And now all those little
yeah,
bitty puppies, you holler at them, go get in. They go get in because, well, they're thinking they're going to get some food. But pretty soon
Yep.
you tell them get in, they're not going to resent you if they don't get any food. They just go get in.
right.
But
So I
I
train
didn't.
them
But
into camp. When you let them, I can let my dogs out at camp. And when I take them to the chain, I just walk to the chain. So all I got to do is rattle a bucket. And they come in there like there's a bear in a tree. Like they know. So that's how I did it. I'd feed them when I put them on the chain out in the hills. And then now, you walk over to that chain, they all run over there. And I usually line them all up in the same order every time. So they know where
right.
their chain is. So it's kind of cool. Manners, though.
It
And it's not just bear hunters, it's houndsmen in general. I've hunted with some people. I'm just like, I'll never hunt with him again because his dogs are so rowdy.
I you
I,
know Go ahead.
I was just saying, mine have their moments, but it's amazing. I here, I think basically the East Coast, and it's not as a general rule. I reckon not everybody. There's a lot of people that do have dogs and they do handle good, but as a general rule here on the East Coast, a lot of people are still in the mindset that if you can holler a dog off a track, or if you can yell a dog off a tree, that dog is not a bear dog. Yeah,
Oh,
they're still in that mindset.
so
And
wrong. That's wrong all the way around.
it's probably the style of hunting that they get to do. I mean, if you're driving around and rigging and doing whatever, you don't have to handle your dogs that much. I mean, you get a good rig, you let them out, they run in a tree, something, you take some leashes to the tree, leash them all up, or tie them back and shoot the bear out, and then leash them up and drag them back. You've had a successful hunt then. I mean,
Well,
just
and a lot of the people only, they're only hunting 4, 6, or if it's a group of them, it's multiple people going to the tree. So, but in my case, sometimes I'm bringing 10, 14 dogs off a tree by myself. So it ain't possible for me to lead them all. I mean, I can't. It just ain't.
you don't
If
have
they're,
enough hands.
yeah, it don't work. I have no choice but to make mine handle.
Yeah. I
Eh, eh,
I I did it just because I didn't know any different. I didn't know that you I didn't know. I thought everybody did. I just thought, when I say hey, hey, and my tone of my voice changes like hey, you know, that's that means okay, guys, if you don't listen to him, there's going to be some electricity following this.
Love
And
button.
And I've
Love
seen it.
buttons.
I've seen it firsthand. His dogs do respond, and Booger's the best. Booger's like, just forget it, guys. Just forget it. He won't let us go. Jack is my favorite dog probably now. Jack's probably, I won't say he's the worst, but Jack wants to go. He wants to go bad,
Jack's got a lot of go to him.
and he wants to
You
go
know they
bad. And I love that dog. Love his energy and stuff. He reminds me of a good bear dog because
And
he's just ready to go. I mean,
and
and
you had
we were there hunting, and he could hear those other hounds trailing, and man, I got to go. And Brett would
He would
get him
run
back.
out and I'd holler at him, and he'd come back just as fast as he left.
Yeah, he would. But a few minutes later, you'd hear them hounds trail again, and he's got to go. I gotta go. Let me go. He look. I have to say, I've seen Brett's dog handle in person. They handle as good in person as they do on camera. So
Yeah, Jack, though, sometimes you got to be careful. You'll call him back, and he'll come running at you so fast and so hard that he'll knock your legs out from under you. He's so intense. That little
Sounds like
snot.
Cruella.
he
You know,
needs
they
to be a
also
fire. He needs
they
to be a
also
fire
say
dog. Jack needs to be a
that
fire dog bad.
they also say though if you don't let them chew on a bear or shoot a bear out, they won't tree no more either. But I just heard something somewhere. I don't know if it was a podcast. The guy said he'd treat 250 bears, never killed one, and his dog still make the tree and stay there. You know, that's kind of the
I
same
know.
theory as if they pull off a tree, they're no good. But
Right.
I know guys that believe that you need to let them chew on a bear, and I know guys that believe that you've got to knock that bear out and let them chew on it. But I know guys believe it says watch. He said, watch the way these dogs act when we let that bear leave the tree. When you let the bear leave the tree on its own, and the dogs get to watch it, it's almost like it fires them up
mm-hmm.
10 times as much as it does to see a bear hit the ground.
What do you
And
think,
I know,
George?
I I so my personal hounds, they maybe there's different dogs that need different things. I don't
That's
know,
yeah,
but my personal line of dogs that I got, they rarely ever chew on a bear. I mean, I think last year we killed 3, maybe. But sometimes I'll tree over 100 bear a year, and a lot of them don't get to see no bear did. Not a single bear did, and they don't. They love to catch bear. That's
yeah,
what.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they love to run bear. Most of them like to catch them, but a lot of mine would rather run them than actually even tree. They're more like a running type dog. They love to run. They want to try to catch animals.
yeah.
Then when they catch, they'll stare there at the tree to me, but that ain't the big thing for them. Just running to catch is what they love to do.
Hmm.
So,
I know
like
my
maybe different lines of dogs and different individual dogs. Maybe some of them will get a little bit more fired up over something animal, but seems like to me if you've got puppies, yes, there's something, but older dogs, if you've got to keep on trying to do stuff to fire them up, then I hate to say it, but they're probably not a bear dog anyway. Not an actual bear dog.
Yeah.
So
I have pups that they've been under I don't know 10 trees, never chewed on a bear, and they still sit there and tree and tree and tree and chase and chase and chase.
right,
So
yeah,
well
uh,
now my friend's cold nosed dog Buford that I've talked about a lot. I saw with him one time. I'd never paid attention because of all the chaos that's usually going on at a bear tree, but I saw with him one time. I took a buddy of mine along with us. He wanted to harvest a bear, and I got to watch with that. The bear went down the hill after they shot it, rolled down the hill, and I just sat down on a rock. I heard something coming behind me, and I looked up, and it was Buford. He came over and sat down beside of me and watched them like I was watching them. And I said, "Don't you want to go chew on it, buddy?" And he just sat there. And I talked to his owner, and he said, "No, once it's dead, he could care less about it. He wants the bear. He wants a live bear.
He
mm-hmm.
wants it alive. He wants the fight.
He wants to run and tree and."
I'll be right back.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's good. I'd love to let a young dog chew on a bear, but I've also shot them bear out of the tree, hit the ground, and them dogs are scared of it. They're like, "Whoa!" And they'll get up to it, and you have to like, "No, you're good." They'll tree and
yeah,
they'll trail, and they'll want to climb that tree and kill that bear until it hits the ground, and then they're like, "What the hell? What is that?" And they'll go up and sniff it like they're scared, and you have to kind of get them coaxed in, and then they'll bite at it a little bit. I kind of dig that because it's like it's like someone who always wants cotton candy and they watch it on TV, and then when you give it to them, they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, what is this?" It's just how the pups are too. It's kind of. I mean, you can roll cage and you can drag all you want, but when you shoot them bear out of a tree, or they're on the, if they're on the ground and all the dogs are biting at it, them little pups, they'll get a little bit braver because all the dogs are there. But when it's just laying there and you're standing by it, I don't know, they just get, they're like, what is that? So
I
I like to watch that.
yeah, I agree with you there, and to me, way better than a dead bear is one of them far as for pup training or getting dogs fired
Mm-hmm.
up is one of the squirrely bears. They'll they'll
Yeah.
come down just out of reach and then they run back up the tree, or they'll come down and
Mm-hmm.
set there right out of the dog's reach and then just scramble back up the tree. That'll get more dogs fired up than any dead bear. Yeah.
Well, and if it's not a bear, I'm gonna harvest. Which I'm like you. I don't harvest. I shot two last year. Uh,
Right.
one or two. But if you can let them down and tie them old dogs back and hold them little young dogs, and when that bear hits that tree ground and runs, you let them go by themselves. That's the best training. But I'm lucky because like I got my pups. They'll run around here for 4 or 5 months until I get a call from the neighbor saying they're out on the road, and then I got to go get them and chain break them. But they get to run around and they chase rabbits and whatever else is around here. Cats that come in my yard. But you know, I've even seen them chase chickens around and trail them, just following a chicken with their nose down to the ground. It's just like, what are you doing? But if you get the opportunity to let them run free, God, that's the best way. And I've been lucky, and that's what I do. I got 10-week-old pups. I think they're 10 weeks old right now. And they're just running around. They'll sit at my office trailer right here, and I'm keeping one. He's going to be my scruffy. I call her Stinker, and she's the runt. She's real tiny. These are I kind of made my own cross. These are mini border collie hounds, and they're ferocious on drags. So, and I got this. I call her Stinker, and then my daughter kept one, and she didn't give it a name, so I stole it. I started calling it Pooper, and so I got Stinky and Pooper around here. So now everybody calls that little dog Pooper. But yeah, I think they're gonna be kind of like a Scruffy. But she comes in the house and she'll sit outside my trailer and howl at me if I don't let her in. But
What?
cool little dogs.
How does Scruffy react to dead game? We've seen how he is with those bears that run up and down the
Oh, I
tree.
bet he wants to eat it alive.
Yeah, he pounces. He likes dead animals for a few minutes. With squirrels, like I said, he hasn't seen many dead bear, but the couple that he's been on and around, and then for squirrels, groundhogs, and like thing like that, like he'll tackle right into it. Once he's 100% sure that it's dead, then he's done. You don't have to say anything to him. He's just done with it, ready to catch something else.
I kind of figured that, but I just wondered how he was.
Yeah. I mean, he'll. I, I'm trying to remember that. I think the one or two bear that he's been on, as far as bear kills, um, I think he like the first chance he got, he pounced right on them, whether they're dead or alive. But
Yeah.
but he
He don't care.
realizes that, and he just goes on. Yeah.
That's cool.
Now I got an interesting thing right now. Is I got a 4 month old little English pup, and I took her the other day just to let her ride around and get used to riding in the truck. And I got a bear treat and went down, and she fooled around a little bit, and you could tell she knew it was some scent there. I took her the next day, and she left me with the other dogs. I got into the tree. She was in there. No, she didn't. The tree didn't go nowhere. It ended up being a sow and a cub. So this ain't. It wasn't nothing really crazy she did, but the my little pup got in there, and when I got down to there, she was treeing, sitting back on the bank treeing, and the bear bailed out before I could get in there, and they had a little round on the ground. Took it about another 500-600 yards, and when I got there, she was treeing again,
Hmm.
and treeing pretty good, and then I ended up having another bear treat on the same day, so I took her in with me, and that time she sat down and just started treeing. I mean, little 4 month old pup.
Yep.
So I got high hopes for her, but I think I've been thinking about. I think I'm gonna put her up, for a couple months, just so nothing happens to her. Let her get some
Size to her.
age and before she gets messed.
Did you bring her in from somewhere?
Yes, she is mine, but I got her from let's see, a guy in Tennessee gave her to me. Yeah. She has the same bloodline as the English stuff I have, but she's not personally out of my line. So, it'll be interesting. And the reason I brought her in basically is because I can freshen up my personal bloodline if she works out, which it seems like she's going to. So we'll see.
Your personal bloodline, have you bred pretty tight over the years?
It's been, yes, sir. It's been not too tight, but it's been pretty tight. Um, I've bred this same line for, I don't know, it's probably been going on 15 years now,
How close?
probably.
How close have you?
The closest I think I've bred, and this one was accidental, was um mother to let's see, it would have been grandson, I believe. But like
How?
I say, that one was unintentional. But I did, she had everything worked out with the litter, and the pups turned out great. So
Mm-hmm.
I kept them, and am still breeding them back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I reckon it would be considered pretty close line breeding, pretty much.
If you bred outside of your line, what would you try to add to it that you might need? What would you look for in an outside dog?
So what I'm needing right now is a outgoing dog. The far as the treeing bear, trailing bear, and striking bear, my personal line does pretty good. They're not the greatest, but they will catch a bear. So, but what I need to work on is, like, right now my dogs are getting more timid and more timid, and it's they're socialized plenty. It's fine. It's just they 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 don't like for strangers to catch them. And it's
Hmm.
even progressing in where they're start. I've noticed each litter, and it's not every dog in the litter, but each litter, it's getting more and more that they're wanting to be a little bit truck protective. Um,
Oh.
on my personal house, they don't want nobody to come. They're not going to bite anybody, but I can see if I keep going the route I'm going, it might get, it could get to that stage. So I'm just trying to kind of get ahead of the ball.
Sounds to
I,
me
I,
like Brett needs to have Jack pulled and send you a sample.
Yeah, I need to just
Is
send
that correct?
Jack to him for a little while. Maybe
yeah,
I'll quit
just
hunting
in,
lions and start hunting bears. If you
Send
watched my
Jack
last
down.
video I put up, there's a big old bear track going down through there, and my dogs
Oh,
were
really?
and they were wanting to
Everybody's
trail it, and I wouldn't let them. I thought about you, George. I thought, well, I need George or Chris here. At least I could enjoy a race, and if the dogs kept going over the next mountain, I got tired, I could just turn around and go home. Let my
I
dogs.
had I had a I was on a deer hunt last week, and I took my dogs, and I think I wasn't too successful at deer hunting. Well, I seen a couple bucks, just nothing shootable. But I was looking more for lion tracks, and then in the last day, I found a bear honey hole. I had like four different tracks on one pond. I went around this real bad mountain. I took my Tundra down it, and I shouldn't have, but
Hold on.
I, I made it home.
I want to show. I want to show. Let me see if I can get these pictures just to show this, especially to John. He needs to see these.
Whoosh, oh little dog.
Oh, this sounds
I
great.
got
Something
let
I
me
need
see.
to do.
I found the biggest bear track, and I found them back there before, but it's not really good treeing country either. There's a lot of pinions. It's going to be a lot of ground fights. See if I can find this picture here. Mm, I took a picture of the track because my whole hand. Oops. You have 10,000 pictures in your phone. Let me see if you guys can see this. Try it. Oh, I got to get it out of the light there. Where's the light? Get it out of the light. Oh, my light's here. Hide my light.
Okay.
You see the handprint? You see the bear on the right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big old pad on him.
Yeah,
But he just
that
walking
looks
down
like,
a. Let me see if I can see. Well, here's this. It's so hard to see pictures in the sand because it looks weird. But here's well, on a little picture you can see it. But let me see if you can see that paw, the front.
right.
Oh yeah, that's front paw. That's a good size.
Yeah, he was a heavy bear. He was a good bear. Just walking around like he owned the place. But I found like 6 different tracks. But that's in that country. I sent a picture to the group. It's big country, big country. I've lost dogs off of cliffs over there. So. But I know what you're saying about the timid. I got a dog named Chloe. It's the only dog I've bought ever from anybody. The first dog, and I bred her to a dog named Uno. I got off a guy. We did some swapping and trading, and it was no bloodline of mine. But Chloe was real emo. I could literally point my finger at her and say, "You did wrong," and she's like I shocked her on 6. You know what I mean? Her attitude, but she's really, really responsive to stuff. I bred them. I didn't like the emo part, but oh my god, what a hunter! And I got my Vodka dog, and my Vodka dog does real good, really good. Her and Dirty treat bears by themselves, like quick rig. 2 minutes later on a tree, like they really good. But her puppies, same thing. Like these little pups I got, they're out of her. 3 of them, I had 6. I gave 2 to a guy who he pissed me off, so I gave them to his kids. So like payback, like here you go. He's probably listening right now too. And his old lady's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "No." What happened is she got a pit bull from the pound. I said, "You're not bringing that in my camp." I said, "You guys are moving. You're trying to get rid of dogs, and you went and got a dog." She goes, "Well, they were going to euthanize him." So my old lady hands her daughter a puppy and says, "You better take this because Chris is going to euthanize these if no one takes them." So then her other daughter wanted one, so we gave them 2 dogs. So, but they sent me a picture of those little mini collies. It's mini collie and hounds. They're really tiny with huge ears, and they had a little coon skin they were dragging, and them little pups were tearing it up. So, yeah, and I did some drags with mine. Louisiana Hunting said we needed pictures. I'll have to get some pictures of them. So, but I know
If they
about the
get to drive,
emo. What's
if they
that?
get to drive of a collie in the nose of a hound, you might have something. You can get them to push
The
like a
dad.
collie
So
wants to push.
yeah. Well, I thought so. This dog, my Vodka dog, she gets bred all the time, but it's if she's in season. Like there's times there's something about her smell. I don't know if she gets little infections or whatever, but they'll breed her. They'll lock up with her all the time. She's like a dog whore, I guess. You know what I mean? So, but she never gets knocked up. So I have to watch her and really watch her and see if she starts bleeding. And I didn't catch her, and she's right next to my dog I usually breed her to. And I thought they all look like hounds. I said, "Oh, that's theirs. That's only," but that they had these little weird heads, and they were really small. And my son says, "Those are roosters." I said, "You think?" And he calls the dog over. "Hey, rooster, come over here." And a little bug-eyed collie with a little head came over. I'm like, "Oh, son of a gun, you're right." But they're pretty cool little dogs. So
I wanted to show John was
Oh,
talking
hey,
about some color-faced
I
bears.
thought I saw these pictures. These were on your video.
Yeah, there's you a color-faced
Oh, look
bear.
there, man.
Oh,
Hey, I may be heading to Mexico next bear season.
Come down August. I mean, spot and stock, or borrow some of George's dogs, or bring George. Watch
No, I
it.
got
Watch.
a buddy that
Look at that. Look at the hind end on that bear. He's built kind of like I am.
I got a buddy that's wanting to
Man.
come back out there. The one that's hunted in Chalma before. He's wanting to bring his dogs back out to Chalma and hunt.
There's another one.
I love the bears that have the yellow backs. I caught a little 90-pound bear last year, 2 years ago. Had a yellow back and jet black legs. I love those kind of bears. But in
Look at the size of
California,
that
they got
guy.
a bunch of bears that are have the white spots on them. We don't have those. I've never caught one in Arizona that had a white spot on his chest. You got them over there, George?
Yeah, the white-chested bear are pretty. It's pretty normal around here. I mean, it's not every
I've never,
bear.
ever seen one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pow.
Have you ever seen the T-shirt bear that was in I think it was in California, that the law officers used to have to go get him out of the trash dump at the restaurant all the time? They called him
I
T-shirt
haven't.
because it looked like he had a T-shirt blazed on his chest. And when he come out of the dumpster, it was crazy. It was one of the dumpsters that had the double tops on it. When he come out of the dumpster, he couldn't get out unless both doors was open. That's how big he was. This bear, I bet you
Man.
weighed at least. I bet this bear weighs at least 600 pounds. Like, try googling it sometime or looking up on YouTube. T-shirt bear, and
You want me to do it?
it's crazy.
We've treated a few around here that had a big, like a baby bib on them. You know, that big white chest. You know, probably 8 inches wide and 8-10 inches long. It's pretty cool. But most of them just have them little white spots right on their chest.
Most of these here just got a little old white, like little white spot, or maybe a little white check mark looking chevron, but they're just
Yeah.
real small.
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon here to have one that's just solid black either.
Yeah.
Elizabeth was hunting with me once, and we treat a solid black. I'm talking jet black bear, and she thought it was cool.
Can y'all see
I guess
that?
they have more color face. Yeah.
And this cop even says, "I bet it's T-shirt." That's what they call it.
Go up there. Check it out there.
Whoa!
There you first. Here, let's see. Whoa.
That is T-shirt. It's okay.
It's T-shirt?
It is T-shirt.
Is that his name?
Yeah, he has a big white front on him.
Yeah, he's tagged too.
Fatty. Rolls on his neck.
Dude, I am so gonna run. Hey.
Too fat to get out.
T-shirt. Has to stop and rest for a minute.
Oh, there you go. There we go. Nice, Joe.
Now if you go back in,
He'll figure it out.
he's starting to go. There he goes.
There we go.
Here he goes. He's gonna go down and he's gonna come out.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, there he goes. He's out. Come on, attaboy. Good boy. Good. Go.
Now that bear has to be at least 600 pounds.
That's a big
That's
bear.
a big bear. That's a lot of soap right there. A lot of soap. Man.
Did you see how fat his hind end was when he walked?
It was about dragging the ground.
It
He
reminded me of an
walks
old
out.
fat man with his.
Yeah, he just couldn't get out of the dumpster. He was so fat.
Well, did you notice though how the dumpster rocked? I mean, that right there told you it was a big bear. When he moved in it, the dumpster rocked like
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
tin can.
Surprised it didn't dump over.
I can't believe you guys hadn't seen that video T-shirt.
No, that's the first time I'd seen it. That's something. We got some pretty big bears. I mean, would you? How big do y'all's bears get, George?
So Virginia's got a big, like if you go in the eastern Virginia, then we can get into some pretty nice, pretty big bear. But where I hunt in the mountainous region, a 250-pound, 300-pound bear is a monster for us. That's a really, really nice bear. We
Chris?
will. My wife killed one 430 a couple years ago, and we treed one
That's a
like
big bear.
478. But that's rare. That's a really big bear for us.
Y'all got some big bears, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, I've
Wake
I've
up,
killed
wake up.
350 pounders, but this area I used to kill out of, I swear there was only 5 foot long, but they were just stacked muscle. Used to call them the Schwarzenegger bears because they were so big. You'd skin them out, and their ankles were just massive, like stockiest bears you could ever find. But there's been some big bears. I know some guys killed 500-pound bears over here.
Are you in Eastern Virginia, John?
No, I'm in southwestern. I'm right against the Tennessee line. Our bears are about like what George is saying. A really, really good bear is 250, 300 pounds.
Yeah.
The two biggest that I've personally been in the group when they were harvested by cousins a year apart, and one was 268 dressed, and one was 267 dressed, field dressed. So they were pushing that, getting close to that 300-pound mark.
Sure.
Or of course,
Say the biggest bear caught 728 pounds, 7'2" in Virginia.
We have a lady we work with, of course, and I don't know about out there. I'm assuming that people are people and bears are bears, but it seems like everybody you see that's seen a bear, man, this bear was huge. It weighed 500 pounds. It weighed 600 pounds. A lady at work, I think it's her grandson-in-law, her granddaughter's husband, hit a bear this past week, and she says it weighs 800 pounds. And she tried to tell one of the guys at work they even weighed it, and the guy is one of the guys that I've bear hunted with a lot. He's like 250. That's what he's saying, 250 from the picture. But she's telling everybody it's 800 pounds. And they're like, and my buddy Seth, I've talked about getting him on here with us one night. He's a really good houndsman. He's like, yeah, he said 800 pounds would be a state record. So
my daughter's walked into a tree before with, we on a mountain we hunt. And, we treated a bear, 250 pounder. She walked in and came back and said 120 pounder, and they went and told everybody is 250 pounds. She's like, there's no way that bear weighed much as I did, They look big in those trees and on the pictures.
We were hunting one night during chase season, and a guy that was coon hunting come back and hollered at us, "Hey, there's one across the road up here. Y'all need to come up here and put on it. It's huge. It's 300 pounds, 250, 300 pounds." And this guy's a bear hunter. We treated that bear, and he probably weighed 75 pounds or something, because we put right on him and treated him right away. And he probably weighed about 75 pounds, and this guy's 300. My dad, the first one I've heard him say that he seen was one December we were bear hunting. He's like, "I seen one this morning on the paper route. He weighed," because he used to deliver papers. "He weighed 400 pounds." I said, "He weighed 2." And Dad said, "He weighed 400 pounds. I know what I'm talking about." I said, "No, you don't. You've not looked at that many bears. He weighed 2." He's like, "He was as tall as my car hood and looked like a yearling steer." And I said, He weighed 200 pounds.
Yeah, I've sent 130-pound pictures to people, and they're like, "Dang, that's a big old bear." I'm like, no, pictures make it look a lot bigger. That bear's like 130 pounds, man. You know,
Did those big bears that y'all caught, did they tree very easy? Or they bay up?
No, they
they like to
walked.
walk. Mm-hmm.
They walked. I mean, I don't know. It seems to me like out there that y'all's bears that size will tree a little better, but the ones I've been on, of course, George is the man to talk to about it. But the ones I've been on, any size around here, they just want to walk, and they don't pay no attention to the dogs. They just kind of, sometimes they want to sit up and sit on their butt somewhere and fight, but most of the time they just kind of walk.
You have to put
They
some
might stop
pressure on
and
them to get
fight.
them to tree, huh, George?
So yeah, that's the typical rule of thumb of what I've seen and what you into. But I will say the bear that my wife killed, um, it was a teddy bear. I mean, the race wasn't nowhere, and it treed, and actually two dogs treed it, and then I took I took a guy on his first bear hunt ever, um, a few years ago, and put on a track, and you could see in the snow that it was a nice track. Put on it, and it stayed on the ground for a few minutes, and then it treed easy and got in there, and let him shoot it, and it was 478. But so I reckon what I'm
Wow.
saying is those two bear. Speaking of them two, they was both some of the easiest bear I've ever treed. But yeah, you're right though. As a rule of thumb, usually the big bear, they don't really tear up as many dogs, but they will just kind of walk along on the ground, just kind of doing whatever they want to do.
I hate when you have
That
to
two
run up
I
and
have,
six
kick them.
that
I
two
hate when
sixty
you have to
eight
run
he
up and
sent
kick them.
yeah, but
the two
them
sixty eight
little
that I was in on that weighed that dressed. He sent he sent several dogs to the vet. They and it and they didn't hunt. There was a few of them didn't hunt until the next year. He tore them up pretty bad, but he was just a mean, ornery bear.
if you those are the dangerous ones. If you get on them little, I think them little 120 150 pound bear, they're the crazy ones, and they, if it's too many dogs on them, they can definitely send you to the vet fast. But then at the same time, if you get on one of them 200-pound bear, and if he's actually a mean bear, and you got dogs that go in there and try to handle him, then you're in a pickle.
When you say on those 120-pound or 140-pound bears, you put too many dogs on them, is that because the dogs are hampered trying to get away from them, or is it because the dogs become too brave and try a little harder to get some fur in their mouth?
Yeah, I think it's both. When the dogs become overconfident, when the bear's more their size,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you said, when you put too many in there, then they feed off each other's adrenaline, and then one dog gets a little bit closer, so the next one gets a little bit closer, and finally one of them takes a grab at it. And when one of them does, a
And
lot of
then,
them,
yeah.
they're they're pack animals. They just jump in there. And
Mm-hmm.
then if it is them little 130-pound bear, usually he's pretty wiry, and usually he's fast enough. He'll make a mess out of a pack of hounds.
Yeah.
I've noticed the bigger bear, usually the dogs will respect them a little bit more. Yeah. They'll
I
stay
think
back, they'll respect it a little bit more, and I don't have near as much trouble over a bigger bear.
I think the bears that tree and then come down and tree and come down, I think that just gets them so riled up that when that bear comes down, they go after him. And then
Yeah,
it gets to the
it's
next tree and it comes down again and they get brave. They're like, we'll get them back up there. And the next thing you know, there's a big fight. And those bears, always get sick of all this unfair chase crap. Because those bears could turn and kill every one of your dogs in about 3 minutes if it wanted to. Those dog bites ain't going to hurt that bear. That bear will take that dog, pick him up, and bite his spine or his head, or just bear hug him. Done.
they're done.
Done. 10
Yeah.
dogs. Done. 3 minutes, under 3 minutes if they wanted to.
And kind of like you said, the dogs, they feed off each other's adrenaline. And then I've noticed a lot of hound hunters, and I make this mistake. I know what I'm doing, and I still make this mistake at times because of adrenaline. But when you get in there, and if you have one of them deals where the bear's on the ground, the dogs are getting in there too close, and then if you go in there yelling and hollering,
They
a
get
lot of
them
times it
pumped
just
up.
fuels the dogs up more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing I've found myself, the best thing to do is get in there pretty close, try to keep my adrenaline level and my voice commands somewhat to a minimum, and then just get them where they'll at least get their attention on me for a second, and then start toning. And that's the best luck that I've had, as far as getting them off the. Yeah, but you go in there hollering and jerking on dogs, that just it gets them fueled up even more.
Just like saying, get him, get off him, get
And
off
I'm
him.
yeah, I'm making it sound easy. It's hard to do that. I know I've been in that spot many times. You want to go in there and your own action, once you start yelling at the dogs, screaming at them, but all you do is just add to the chaos.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when a lion's out on a bluff too. I mean, you stand back and you watch, and those dogs are back off of them, just baying, and then they see you come and get closer, then they start getting down there close to that lion, and that's the most dangerous thing, because then they could just get knocked off that bluff.
Let's make Dad proud.
Yeah, they look at you
like,
here he comes. The fight's on now.
Come on, guys, show them what we can do.
So
yeah,
but I don't have. I mean, I can stand back. As long as I stand back, I can holler at them, and they don't get tougher. They start. I mean, they're proud of what they've done, but I can get them to come back to me. It's not.
You can sure tell a dog though that's been swiped, because they're really cautious and they know what to do. It's them puppies. And then the puppies get in there, and then there's a fight between the puppy and the lion, and then all the other dogs are like, "Oh, heck no," And the older dog's a little bit smarter.
I got a video of a lion caught on a bluff down in West Texas with a dog that I sent the guy, and the dog's a young dog, and they're all baying this big tom lion out in the middle of this nasty bluff, and you can tell the puppy is about I don't know, the pup's probably, well, she's got to be a little over a year old. I still call her a pup. But she's in there. All the dogs, there's probably 8 or 9 dogs baying this big old tom lion on this bluff. And that puppy's in there with her. But she don't really know what's going on. She sees the lion. She's with the other dogs. They're all wow, 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 wow. So she's just wow, wow. And you could tell she's looking around at the other pups. Well, or the other dogs, and she's moving like that. And pretty soon she moves real close to that lion. That lion just grabs her like that. Didn't kill her, but dang sure she made a mistake by not paying attention. Her focus wasn't on the lion.
And those collars don't help. They might just go to swipe that dog and retract and grab that collar and bring that dog in, and there's the fight. There it goes.
That's how you get a cat out of a cave, or don't you? Or a little crack or whatever, a bobcat or a lion. Just carry a gunny sack with you, and
let them grab it,
and a section of rope. Shove that gunny sack in with them where they can grab it, and they'll claw it, and then they can't get their claws out of the gunny sack. Then you just pull them out of the cave and hit them on the back of the head with a rock.
You just pull them out of the cave.
Brett, for one, we all know Brett won't go in those caves.
Oh,
We've seen that.
I don't like caves.
This is all I'd hear. Hey, Chris, throw that sack in there. Go in there and throw that sack in there for me. And just pull the rope.
It would be like a buddy of mine. He's a rancher up there, and we caught a lion in a cave up there, and we were looking in there, and you could hear the lion in there, growling and everything. But it was a nasty little crack, only about 2.5 foot, and it went in like that. And I told Phil, I said, "Go on in there, take a look. That's it's on his ranch." I said, "Go in there and take a look." I said, You can see if that lion's right there. And he started to crawl in there, and I said, keep on going. And I grabbed him by the feet, and I started pushing him. he started screaming like a little girl.
You know,
Now you need my buddy Seth with you sometime. You're doing that with the gunny sack, because he talks about he's the one that introduced me to the book Trained by a Hound,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that he would love to lasso one of those cats one day like they used to do.
Oh
He
yeah.
said he would love to.
like to do lots of things they were able to do back in the day.
Let me tell you, I've never done that with a gunny sack. I just make that clear. I've never done it, but I've heard people talk about it.
I had a friend one time.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say I had a friend one time that held his brother by his feet down in a coyote hole to get some pups. And so all my friend could hear is, they're biting me. And my friend was like, just grab them. Just grab them. Stupid
We
friends.
The guys I hunt with one time, I had to go back to work, but they were hunting and the dogs just blew up. They were walking. They were They were kind of had a couple dogs free casted, and were just walking up over some big boulders. And so they've got to be a bear here somewhere. And all of a sudden, one come out of a hole on them, and they killed it, and it rolled back over in the hole. And they said it was a pretty deep hole, and they didn't know how they were going to get it out. And I owned this dog for just a little while, and then the guy that had him before wanted him back, and I let him have him back. But his name was Raz. He was a half English, half Walker, and he's the only bear dog I've ever seen that clamps down like a pit bull. He takes hold of a bear and he just clamps.
Won't let go.
And no. And they said, how in the world we go get that bear out of there? And somebody said, put an extra lead on Raz and drop him in the hole. And they did. And Raz bit down on the bear, and they pulled Raz back up out of the hole, and he had the bear clamped, and so they pulled him and the bear both back up out of the hole. He did. I've seen Dusty lay down on the ground, and I'm just going to say beg with his hands for him to let the bear go. I mean, and get rough. And I told him, I said, you're going to have to start carrying a break stick.
Break stick.
The bite stick, yep.
Them break sticks like them guys use on them pit bulls that boar hunt that used to hog hunt. You're going to have to get you one of those, because he would just Raz. They called him Raz. Raz would just bite down and not let go.
No, I've never done it, and probably, truth be told, I'll probably never do it. But I think it makes a good story.
I remember when I was younger, dogs took a bear and went in a little. I mean, it ended up being a big cave, but it was a tiny little entrance, and the entrance went straight down for about 4 foot, and it was a little bit bigger than a groundhog hole. And I was little enough. We wasn't really wanting to kill the bear, but we just wanted the dogs back. We got all the dogs back except one, and they hooked dog leads around my feet and dropped me in head first. I even had to take my belt off because my belt kept hanging up on roots and I couldn't fit through. So I took a 9mm and stuck toilet paper in my ears and went head first down in there and got the dog out. Oh, see,
Brett's getting claustrophobic listening.
No, I don't like that.
Brett's getting claustrophobic listening.
I
told Brett, I wanted to see you go in that cave. What do you? No, go in the cave.
No, I tried. I wanted to, but I just couldn't. Nope.
If I was with you and you told me my Tom was in the cave, I would go in and get it. That's how bad I want it. I'd go in and get him.
Just here you go.
I need
to start carrying a pistol with me. I just carry that 30-30, and I need to carry a pistol.
I always carry a pistol.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
I should.
That 45 you had with you that day would be sufficient. Just carry it.
You mean mine?
Yeah.
Did I have it in the buggy with us? Yeah, I did, didn't I? Because I didn't have my 30-30. Yeah, but it'd have to be 5 foot away because I can't hit anything with a pistol.
Well, if you're in a cave, he's probably not going to be that much more away.
Yeah, when you're in a cave, he's probably running past you.
I had one run out of. I borrowed a guy's pistol on that same ranch, and the lion was. This is years and years ago. The lion was in a cave hole. It was really just an indention in a bluff, and there's a little cedar tree growing out the side, and I climbed up there with the pistol up the side, and I was hanging off of that cedar tree, and that lion was just like right there, like 5 foot in front of me, just going like that. And I held that pistol, and old Phil, same guy, hollered at me, said, if you don't kill him with the first shot, make sure you shoot him again. Like, what am I going to do? And I shot, and before I could even lower my hand, that lion came by and brushed my leg, came out of there. What I'd done is I just punctured his skin. I didn't kill him. It was on a private ranch. But
So did you go home without a shirt sleeve or a sock?
just went home with the mess.
Oh.
No, but it happened so fast that I didn't even have time to think about it.
Yeah.
It just happened real fast. But that last big Tom down there in the Floridas, he was in that cave, and I didn't have anybody to help me, and I had all those dogs there, and I mean, if I'd had a pistol, I don't know why I would have felt more comfortable with a pistol going in there and shooting him, and I probably should have shot him, and but I didn't, and he was in there hissing, and it would have been easy, but I don't know, I just didn't. I got my dogs out of there, let him roll. But anyway, Chris, your lips are moving, but there's no noise coming out.
Oh, that's because I was eating candy that I stole from my kids Halloween. I don't want to hear me crunching it. You guys got to read that book. I think it's Wild Sports of the Far West by Frederick Gerstaker.
Gerstaker, yeah.
It's just a journal basically, but the stories he tells about going in those caves, and back in the 1830s, 40s. I don't believe they had Easton. I don't believe they had LEDs. They had candles, and he talks about taking his candles in there, and candles went out. They shoot. It's a good book to read. Like, it's literally 99 cents on Kindle. It's not or Amazon. It's a
Wild Sports of the Old West.
Of the Far West, I think that's what it's called. Frederick Gerstaker.
I've heard that before.
Meat Eater. Clay Newcomb read a passage from it. I'm like, man. But, it's not just bear and lion hunting, but he just ran around and did dogs and hunted turkeys and deer. And it's a really good book. It's a real story. It's a journal from that Frederick Gerstaker or something. So I suggest. I mean, the stories are phenomenal. Makes you think, man. Back in the days, like going with a candle and a muzzle loader, flintlock. Well, I don't even think they had cap and ball back then. So, yeah,
just a dull knife.
Well, the one story, he goes in, they shoot. Well, they're trying to find a bear. They find 3 cubs because the mama bear went further back in the cave, and the one guy's like staying with the cubs, keeping them quiet, while the other guy goes in to kill the bear. Yep.
I've been told the story about an old man around here that hunted with his hounds years ago, and a double bit axe is what he bear hunted with. And they said that this guy was from here. He was from, I think they said, it's a town called Rural Retreat. I don't know if George has ever heard of Rural Retreat or not. It's real close to me, but
yeah.
it's actually where, and of course this is getting more out your guys' way. It's actually where Dr. Pepper was a pharmacist before he moved to Texas and invented Dr. Pepper.
Oh yeah.
They call it the home of Dr. Pepper. But they said that guy lived there and said he liked to catch him on the ground and said all you needed was a double bit axe. You just wade in between the dogs and get the bear. Now that's a man right there. That's a man.
Listen, I know from experience. I had a bear killing my son's dog, and it was archery season, so you're not allowed to shoot him. And I ran in with my Bowie knife to kill his bear. It's not that easy, and it ain't that fun when that bear turns around and comes at you, and you look back where somebody should be shooting that bear before he eats you, and they're running up the hill faster than you are. You cannot be the slowest man when a bear's chasing you. I promise you that.
They say I don't have to be that fast. I just have to be faster than you.
Exactly.
The bear that I was talking about a while ago that weighed like 268 dress that sent some hounds to the vet that day. The boy that killed it, his dad said he's hollering on the radio. He needs help. I didn't have my radio on me. I was outside the truck and didn't have my small radio with me. He said he's hollering. He needs help. He needs help. And then he come back over the radio and our key on the radio is Elvis has left the building when one has been harvested. His next words was Elvis has left the building. And he told us that he didn't even have his pistol drawn. He just heard some racket and heard the dogs baying. And he parted the laurel leaves and looked. And when he did, the bear come out, swiping at him. And he ran and held the pistol over his shoulder like that and shot. Held a 44 mag like that. And said when he turned back around, the bear was dead.
Is that Winchester revolver a pistol or a rifle?
What Winchester?
AMC, the guy just Good News Magnum Research makes a 30-30 Winchester revolver.
Yeah, no, it's a pistol. That Magnum Research is actually, it's probably BFR. It's probably BFR, is what they call it. A BFR 30-30. They make it in a 45-70 too.
Oof. I'd buy that because I bought a 45 long Colt lever action because I had a 45 long Colt pistol. That's my bear gun. I haven't got to shoot one with it yet.
BFR. Well, how long do they have one with a short barrel? Shorter barrel.
They only look like an 8-inch barrel. Is that an 8-inch barrel?
It's just a big pistol, but I think it's about an 8-inch barrel. But they actually make one. They actually make one in a 45-70.
I just thought with the 30-30, then I already got the.
Well, it'd be nice to have the same pistol cartridge as your rifle. I have a 30-30 too. I'd buy that. I'm gonna look that up now.
Yeah,
that's buy the 45-70 pistol and then buy you a 45-70 rifle.
I have a 45-70 rifle. I don't want to shoot a 45-70 pistol. Especially a revolver. Maybe an automatic. That revolver got to put the hurt to your wrist.
I know a guy I've talked to a guy that's got one. He works at a local gun shop here. He says it's not that bad, but I can't imagine that it's not.
Is the guy 300 pounds and have arms like a tree trunk?
No, actually, he might weigh 180 and he's built like a stick.
Oh.
Toothpick arm. He's a little fella.
Skinny runts.
He's a skinny fella, but
anyway.
I can't.
Guys,
I've shot a 45-70 rifle. I can't imagine shooting it in a pistol.
What else do
I have an old breech load. I messed up. I traded a 375 Winchester for a 45-70 breech load, and I punched myself in the face for trading that 375. It was a good gun.
Yeah, but that breech load is that's a good weapon, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll get out there. I load my own round, but I did buy that 45 lever action, just so I can have the same rounds as my pistol.
Double Duty commented on our. I've got a Henry 44 mag, and then I've got a 44 mag pistol. He's talking about the Henry 357 and 44 mags.
Well, they don't shoot fast either, so I can reload. You can just use soft lead. Anything under 1,500 feet, you don't really have to harden the lead. So I got my own. I owned a scrapyard, so I have literally tons of lead. And let me tell you, tons of lead isn't. It don't take very much to make a ton of lead.
I'm gonna mute you here in a minute because I have no idea what you're talking about.
You'll have to turn your headphones off. It's a learning experience.
I don't want to know.
I'll load you some bullets, Brett.
I don't shoot enough to. I mean, I can kill everything I need with just my 30-30.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if anybody's ever shot the 44 mag Lever Revolution rounds. I've been thinking about getting those for my rifle just to try them, see how they shoot.
Never even heard of it.
It's a round that Hornady makes. It's just for lever guns.
Don't know.
I have no clue.
But I mean, they've designed everything just to be for a lever gun.
I'm sure it'd kill a bear.
Oh well, conversation has deteriorated. You start talking about grains and lead and ammo and all that stuff. I don't know anything about it. Nothing.
I'm not that
Neither
good
do I.
at it. But...
You reload though, don't you, Chris? All your stuff and.
Yeah, I reload.
You shoot a lot?
No, I don't shoot a lot. I just like to have all the equipment. So I owned a scrapyard. So I didn't sell my lead. I didn't
Is there
resell
anything
my
you
lead.
haven't done?
Yeah, but I can't say it on the air. Hey, maybe if I did that, I'd be making more money. I literally have thousands and I didn't sell none of my brass. I had tweakers go to the driving range and sift the brass out of the dirt. And I have a huge tumbler. I had a 55-gallon barrel worth of brass. And I'm still, to this day, I haven't finished that. I have probably 10,000 rounds of 40 caliber. I don't even own a 40 caliber. I don't shoot them little girl guns. I got 45s and a 10 millimeter. You know?
I don't cook either.
I have. You sound like Ted Nugent now. That's what he said about the 40 caliber.
Did he? It's a good round. Better than a 9 millimeter.
Let me see what I'm thinking about. If I'm thinking correctly, a 40 auto and a 10 millimeter are the same round, except for the 10 millimeter has more powder behind it. Correct? A 40.
Okay, a 10 millimeter is a 40 Magnum, basically. It's the same die.
Yeah. Well, the 10 millimeter was made first, and I think that our federal agents were carrying it, according to Uncle Teddy Nugent, because I heard him talk about it one time, and he said,
"Well, he uses one to kill everything with."
Well, he said they were wimpy and they couldn't stand the recoil, so they had to make that 40 caliber. That was his.
I always tell people my 45 is for when you're in my house. My 10 millimeter is when I have to shoot you through my house. I don't know. I'm not a gun freak. I dabble in it.
I can't afford to do it.
Oh, that's why I never sold none of my stuff. I didn't go scrap none of my brass or none of my lead or anything. So, yeah, if you've seen my yard, I'll send you guys an aerial of my yard I just took with my drone. And I'm like, holy crap. Like 40, 50 vehicles deep. Mm-hmm. My retirement is sitting in my yard. I have 48 power wagons. I have old trucks that are worth money. So, yep.
I just got a comment on one of my YouTube videos says you need a sidearm, my friend.
We was just talking about that too.
I know.
So,
Maybe they're on here.
It's a
And
sign.
so Tammy needs to not say anything to you when you go buy one now because it's done been decided.
yeah, she's got it. She has a pistol that she carries around with her. I sent her. I had her go to class to a concealed carry school. So I told her, I said, you need to learn from a professional. I'm just ranch raised gun guy. You know, I just know how we handled them on the ranch. I don't know all the ins and outs. And
I'm not that deep into it. I mean, I got my rifles, but I got a lot of old rifles, Mausers. I got a 1917 6.5 Swedish Mauser. Like,
you keep
you
saying
know, my
you're not
deer
into
video.
it, and you keep saying all this stuff that after you say that.
Well, I'm not a doctor either or a vet, but I can stitch up a dog. You know, you do what you got to do when you're. Well, I shouldn't say that on air. I was gonna throw the J word around. I'm half Jewish, so I'm a cheap bastard. You gotta learn how to do your stuff, man. So
You know, my cousin and I, we went through a stage where we was trying to figure out, you know, what caliber to carry, what gun to use, and finally, after piles of tests and sitting down and even going through some reloads and everything, pretty much, yeah, there is a few calibers that outdo others, but for us here trying to kill bear in tree or on the ground, basically we can make any caliber work. It just comes down to the actual bullet you use.
I think the
So
30-30 is about the most the most universal. You could kill an elk, deer, bear, coyote, fox, bobcat with a 30-30. It's one of my favorites. I've
it,
shot coyotes at 400 yards with it. I'm not saying it's a long range gun, but it,
It's got
if
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's got a trajectory
anybody
like that.
they
Yeah,
do, and if
rainbow.
anybody comes here to personally hunt with me to try to kill bear, that's my recommendation: 30-30 or 35 Remington. You know, with the 30-30, put some. If you don't want to put a whole pile of money, get you a 30-30 open sight with some like 170 grain blocks, and it'll do. Yeah, it'll do whatever you need to do for a bear.
I just sent Louisiana Hunting a picture of my sky picture of my yard.
Send it to me, and
He
I'll
said,
put
"You
it
got."
on the air.
Oh, I will. I'll send it.
Is it a video or just a picture?
It's just a picture I took. Uh,
Timothy Brink says that, and Cheryl Brooks, I see your comment. I'll order some, but Timothy Brink says the 450 Bushmaster is the best bear round there is. I have seen a bear harvested with a 450 Bushmaster, and it was shot in the neck by a kid, and it left a pretty good exit wound, a huge exit wound.
You know, the 450 Bushmaster, the when you go back to like the 45-70, all them are great rounds. Um, Speaking about the 45-70, the reason I don't personally and the reason I won't carry it is because I'm not a bear shooter, but I'm a bear. I finish off bear for people sometimes, and a lot of times, if the bear's on the ground, you got to be able to one arm. You know, you got to be able to
yeah,
hold dogs back and shoot your one hand. So I like the 35 or the 35 or the 30-30 because there's no kickback to it. You can easily one arm it and you know pull the trigger with one hand, just with your hand on the one hand on the gun. Them
I
bigger ones, that
think
45-70 gun up over your head when you pull the trigger,
We
not against your shoulder.
mm, I think
we
it's too
about
big
most of
for a
us.
tree, anyways. It's too close. 45-70 is probably a little longer range to kill a bear. You know, when you're only 20 feet, 30 feet up in the tree, that's a big gun I don't know. I mean, if it's your grandpappy's gun or your favorite gun, you want to shoot a bear with it. There you go. But you know, I've
Oh,
shot
I
elk
think
with it.
a 470 does great for whoever the original shooter is. But just for me personally, it's
Yeah,
I something that I can just like I say, if it's a bear on the ground and I gotta after the shooter makes the original shot, if I gotta run in there and pull dogs off with one arm and pull the trigger with the other hand, I don't want that thing to kick over my head when I pull the trigger.
yeah.
Can y'all see
Most of
that?
us use a 44 Magnum.
Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's the north side. That's
Hey,
the north side.
You got a round pin out there.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll send you the south side. Yeah, you see my shop's bigger than my house. But you see that shop? You see the right side of that big shop?
Yeah.
That big mess? That's my son's college tuition right there. He scraps. He took over my scrapping business and he goes around and picks up stuff. All of that he's made thousands of dollars off that. Like he's literally paid for his college with scrap. I sent Brett the south side now.
Let me see if I
That
can
was
pull
just
it.
the north side. There's about 20 more on the south side.
Let me see here. I may lose y'all. If I do, I'll be right back. I got to see this. Are y'all still there?
Yeah. Can you
Uh-huh.
guys see
Yeah.
that picture?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
the
sir.
south side.
How many vehicles do you have stashed around there?
I've never counted them, but just right there, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know, 20 or 30 right there. And then whatever 20 or I told you I had 40 or 50 of them.
What is that? Is that a trailer that's burnt down right over there?
Yeah, this beginning of this year, we had that travel trailer caught fire. Right next to it, to the left, is an airstream. So we're trying not to let that airstream burn down.
Wow.
I just sent a picture to the group that I just received. That's my buddy's little boy out tonight. They're out tonight hunting. He's just 4.
Oh, I haven't got it yet.
Yeah, I got my 5-year-old twin girls under a tree this year, or just a couple weeks ago. Got to do the selfie with the bear above them.
Oh, he says that his son is really. They took it. He's old enough now that they can get him to a tree with a raccoon, and he said he's
Nice.
really took to raccoon hunting. He's crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that picture I just sent you. His name's Bane. He's got it by both legs, holding it up. So.
It hasn't came in yet.
Has it not?
No.
Let me try this.
Thing about taking them kids is they're good. They're good for a while, and then you look back and they're asleep in the back. They try though. They try to stay awake. I love taking kids, but coon hunting, man, they'll go for a few hours, and next thing you know, it's quiet.
I'm the same way.
I sent it just to you, Brett. It just come through. It wouldn't go through in the group for some reason.
Huh. Oh, cool.
He's a good little fella. You talk about a good one.
Gotta get them kids out.
Oh yeah.
Y'all see that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's his name's Bane. And like I said, he's 4, and that's Hank back there behind him. And Hank is built like a tank. It's the biggest coon dog I've ever seen. So he's thick.
Ruined him for life right there.
Yep.
Yeah,
he just made that kid go broke.
He's got and he's coming out of it, but at that age how they are with their C's, he has a hard time with his C's. So that's my tune dog. That's what he says. Hank's my
Toon
tune dog. His tune dog. And
Hey, what were
like I
you
said, he's a good
feeding,
guy.
George? What dog food were you feeding? You said, were you feeding Diamond?
No, I feed Pride.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just switched because that retriever, my dog started losing weight lately, and I heard they had a recall, and I don't know what they're doing different, but I went to Diamond literally this week. See how it does, I guess.
I feed Diamond.
Yeah,
Your dog
I
stay
feed
pretty
Pride.
fat?
What's that?
Maroon
Your
sack.
dog stay, is it stay pretty healthy on that?
Yeah.
And I know
I'll
with
try 'em
mine, as
out.
far as the Pride, you'll hear different people, different things, but a lot of times I've noticed when a dog, well, I won't even get into the dog food debate, but dog food around here, Pride is easy for me to get to, and my dogs do fine on it, so that's what I feed. A lot of times
Yeah.
I'll add a supplement or something when I'm hunting them really hard, kind of like right now. But yeah, mine do fine on it.
I have a
I
freezer
fed
full of
Tops.
meat that I feed.
I fed Tops or Diamond when I was hunting with those dogs. But I did notice that Mike out there was just feeding Purina dog chow right now. He said sometimes he had to go to a high protein feed, when it started getting colder. But that heat, he was just feeding dog chow.
Oh yeah. I fed that for a long time.
You
I
know,
think
I
the only
fed
reason I
O'Roy
feed
for a long time.
I think the only reason I feed the Diamond is it makes me feel better. The maroon sack, it says high protein and everything, and I just cut back in the summertime. You kind of feel bad because you just feed a little bit, but and then I have some dogs that are easy keepers. They get too fat if I'm not real careful, and then I got a couple that
Feed
I
him a
got to feed.
handful.
Yeah, I got a couple I got to feed quite a bit more, and they still don't gain the weight they should. And but that's just that's like the rest of us. I'm an easy keeper myself.
Yeah.
But I
Yep.
haven't noticed any problems anyway.
Well, I'm gonna try it out. I've never really fed it. I've done good on the retriever, the high protein, but man, lately it just feel like it's not keeping up. And I feed meat too. I got a freezer full of all my meat.
Somebody gave us a thumbs down.
What? Well, last time that happened, we went on the prowl.
We're gonna find them.
It was the last time. It was my father-in-law, I think.
He
if I
probably
remember
did it
correctly.
again. I think it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think a lot of times people hit that by accident.
Hey,
When COVID hit and we couldn't have in person at the church, and I was doing Facebook Live, and everybody at the church would get on their individual Facebook page and watch. I went up to our overlook just so I would have a little peace there to make sure no noise happened or anything to do one. And one of the older ladies in the church, she put the angry face up while I was preaching, and it kind of like took me off, for a second. I was like, "What did I do?" But
You probably threw
I
a big
believe
old rock at her. That's what we used to say. We'd go sit in church and have to duck those rocks they were throwing at us.
I was like, what did I say wrong? Well, I got in trouble with Tammy this week anyway at church. Something I said from the pulpit. She said, "That
what was that?
nice."
We want to know what'd you say. We want to know what you said.
Okay, what I said was we were, I was finishing up Revelation chapter 15, and Revelation chapter 15 is the prelude that John writes to the bowl judgments, talking about the bowl judgments that will be poured out at the end of the tribulation. And I got off on how if I do my job and tell you about Christ anyway, that I don't have to worry about you when the bowl judgments happen. And the great thing is that those of us that accept Christ won't have to worry about being around the tribulation. You know, we either done went through the grave or we'll be called up. And then I just got off on how I don't really like, and I don't. My wife will tell you I don't process death the way everybody else does. To me, death's not. Yeah, I mean, like I've lost my grandparents and stuff, and you know I really, really miss them. But at the same time, I still don't process death like most people do. Once you're dead, in my eyes, there's nothing else I can do for you. You know, that's a kind of a Catholic belief that you can do something for somebody after they die by praying them into heaven, and I just don't believe
Well,
that way.
don't they believe
But
that they go to
but
purgatory or something?
well, they believe a lot of times if you've not been a perfect person that, and it depends on how much. And this is just talking to people that were Catholic and left the religion. I'm sure a Catholic would probably argue with me, and I don't want to argue with anybody about it if somebody's Catholic. But uh, had a guy tell me one time that his dad worked for the railroad years ago, and they were very poor, and there was like 8 kids, and his dad died, and his mom was stuck there with 8 kids, and the priest showed up and said, you know, your husband wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't the greatest guy in the world either. So we need X amount of dollars to pray him into heaven.
Oh,
You know, that's how much work that's how much work I'm gonna have to do is to pray him into heaven. And so they, you know, he said, so in that instance, if that's the way things really are, then my dad was doomed because we didn't have the money, you know. So we left that religion, and I think they ended up in something similar to a Baptist belief, you know, a Protestant type belief. Well, anyway, uh, I just went on to say how I don't really worry about you if you die. You know, it doesn't do me any good. And when I said I don't worry about you if you die, Tammy's face like, and she just done that. So, you know, I on the way to the car, I didn't even make it to the car. I got that was not nice, and I said, "Was it a lie?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Did I do something wrong?" And she said, "Well, it just wasn't nice." And I said, "Well, you know, that's just me. I'm not, you know,
Well,
I
where
don't
is
have a
Tammy?
lot." She
I
is.
don't hear her. I don't hear her commenting in the background, yelling at you.
She's not here tonight. Right now, her nieces took her. Like I said, we live really, really close to the state line of Tennessee. So
Mm.
there's a place there that they built a shopping huge center, and there's a Bass Pro in it. And of course, I sent her to the Bass Pro to pick me up some stuff. But they were going down there tonight to visit a new donut shop that went in called Duck Donut. I've never heard of Duck Donuts, but apparently Duck Donuts is the stuff. So they were making a 45-minute trip to get donuts.
Nice.
I gotta mention this here. Cheryl Brooks says Prina gives too much to the Humane Society.
Yep.
And let me tell
That's
you
John.
something that happened quite a few years ago. It was like flooding, and this is when I lived at the farm. And me, being me, I was playing around on the internet, nothing else I could do, and I got on Twitter, and I tweeted to Purina. I said, "Do you guys support hunting with hounds?" And they answered me back, and they said, "No, we do not support anything that has to do with hunting with hounds." And I made a big deal of it, and I had that Ron Bain from the Hunting Dog podcast contact me. I bet I had 20 people contact me about that, asking, telling me, well, no, Purina, that was one division of Purina. That was not the other division. That Purina's a big company and everything. And I remember telling them all the same thing. Man, either you're with me or you're against me, but there's no in between. I mean, that's the way I feel about it too. So if Purina is going to say something like that publicly, then they can go piss up a rope.
Pound sand. They go pound sand.
That's the way I feel about it. So anyway, thought I better.
Well,
that's part of my rant. Huh?
Now you're making me wonder what I should feed my pets, because that's what I feed my pets. Purina.
Oh, it's all right, Johnny. If you want to be a trader.
Yeah.
I said, now
Don't
you're making me wonder what to feed them. I got to figure out what to feed them now.
don't feed the mouth that's going to bite you.
Mm-hmm.
Another rant. I got another rant. That's what I wanted to do tonight anyway. Okay. I got a couple dogs, the pups that I was going to I'm not advertising them or anything, but somebody sends me a message and says "Hey Brett, do you have any pups for sale?" I write back and I said, "Yeah. I got, whatever." "Well, what are they?" And I said, "Well, they're this and this and this." "Well, how old are they?" "Well, this. Could you share a picture of the pup with me?" I said, "Sure." I share the pup picture. This is all done on Messenger on Facebook. "Well, how much? Oh, it looks good. How much do you want for him? And will he be sold intact?" Because a lot of guys won't. Well, Mike's one. He won't sell a dog that's intact. And I told him the price, and I said, "Yeah, I'll sell him intact." Never another word. Never another word. Drives me absolutely crazy. That's the rudest thing in the world to do. That's like me coming up and talking to you and sitting there talking to you and you telling me something, me just turning around, walking away. Never saying, "Oh, thank you, I'm not interested," or "No, that's beyond my budget," or anything. Just see ya. But I think
George gave a look like he knows exactly what you're talking about.
it just drives me crazy. My
That's
wife,
anytime you sell anything, whether it's a puppy or uh, a gun or a 2x4. I mean, people are going to message you like crazy about it, and then just drop it and walk off and
Oh,
never another word.
fake
to me,
fake
that's
book is the
rude.
worst. Oh yeah.
That's rude. Say, okay, well, but I've had my whole afternoon was toasted today because last week I contacted a guy because I talked to Chris about it. I want to have I got a shipping container that I use as a storage, but I'm going to convert it to a shop, and then I'm going to move my office into that shipping container. So I could probably do it, but it wouldn't be very nice. So I want to have somebody who has some skills do it. So a friend of mine gave me the name of a guy. I called him last week. He said, "Y'all will send it to me here, so it'll be on my calendar, 12:30 Monday afternoon." Well, I had a meeting in El Paso this morning at 10, so I said, "No problem, I can do it." So I had that meeting, everything, hustled back, and then he sends me a text message, said, "Well, I had some things come up. Is it all right if I make it out there about 2?" And I said, "All right, I'll wait I'll wait for you, at 2." I've never heard or seen the guy. Never heard another word from him. And I sat there and waited until 3:30. And then I also had a pretty well-known guy that we all know, and I'm not going to mention his name, that was supposed to call me back Saturday. So I made sure I'd stayed by the phone. Never called me back. What's going on with the world?
Wait, was that me? Was that me?
This guy's
Was I
pretty
supposed
well.
to call you back?
This guy's pretty well known, and
Dang it.
and then other guys too. I mean, I sent an email and left a message with with the guy's secretary. It was a guy, whatever. Said have him call me. Never called me. Never answered my email. So I'm
Crazy.
I'm pretty grumpy about all that. It's just rude. I mean, I had a meeting this morning at 10 o'clock in El Paso. What would they have thought if I just didn't show up? I
Yeah.
mean,
I had something come up. I'll be there at 2
yeah,
and then not show up.
that's anyway.
There's a dog question right there for you, Brett.
Which one?
Can a domesticated 2-year-old Catahoula leopard take to hunting with pack? Absolutely.
I don't know anything about Catahoulas.
I think any dog could take hunting if you put them with another dog.
Well, unless
It's
they're
just
dog
like
aggressive,
kids.
you're liable to get to
Oh,
the
yeah.
tree and find
That's
a
the only
dead
thing got to
dog.
work. How is he around other dogs? But if a dog's gonna hunt, he's gonna hunt.
I've heard Catalutas
What
are
do you-
really good dogs. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's what I have. I have Cruella's half Catahoula, and I kind of bred him for the desert, but she does great on bear. Trees. She runs fast. She's a fast dog. What do you think, George? Send him to
Yeah, I agree.
George. He'll make him hunt.
Well, I don't know. I don't have personal experience with Catahoulas, but I think you're right. I mean, long as they're not, it's definitely worth a try. I mean, long as it ain't dog aggressive, why not?
There you go.
I know they use them on cattle. They use those Catahoulas on cattle a lot. I bred a Catahoula to one of my hounds just for kind of sturdiness in the desert, but I honestly like them. She tracks and trees. That's that Cruella dog I got with the 2 blue eyes. She is fast. She'll tree. She trees good. So
Yeah, I think there's a fella up on this ranch right next to where I hunt quite a bit that has a bunch of Catahoulas, and he runs them on those cows, on wild cows, catching wild cows.
Yep.
He has a pack of them.
A lot of the ranches I hunted down in Tonto Basin, that guy, he was crossing them with Labradors, and they were doing good. Is those donuts? Tammy, is those donuts? He's muted us. He's trying to hide
no.
the. Oh,
I
and
had
a
to mute
pizza.
I had to mute you.
Oh.
I'll
Wait,
gain
what
10
is it?
pounds just looking at that.
Oh, yeah, I just did. Cut him off, Brett. Turn him off. Kick him off.
And the chicken.
Oh.
The Jesus chicken.
It's,
'Cause he needs it.
it's Christmas at my house.
Wow.
Hmm.
And there's the dog.
I muted her. Well, that one's hurt, and the other one touched her. So, Friday night, I was on my way home from work, and apparently they had a dog fight. I sat in the driveway too long, and I think they got excited. But there was a really good. Our local high school was on the was on the radio with football. It was a really good game. So,
Oh, yeah.
I was sitting in the driveway
Tammy's home.
listening to it. She's making a lot of racket. It's been quiet.
Yep, Tammy's home. Tammy's home. Time to go. She says, time to go.
He asked where you were at just about 30 minutes ago. He said, "Where's Tammy at? She's not yelling at you."
She's not yelling at Johnny for being
She's
mean
not
in
fussing about
church.
you she's not fussing about you having too many kids either. So.
I'm still fussing that he didn't accept my friend request.
Oh yeah, you didn't accept her friend request. Brett didn't
Oh,
accept her
man.
friend
I
request.
did.
Who didn't?
So
Who else didn't?
So she took the request back. So
No, I accepted it.
He said he accepted. Brett said he accepted it, Tammy.
It didn't say so.
She said
Maybe
he
she
did.
just deleted you.
Yes,
She
I
deleted you.
did.
You took too long.
I have to be careful of accepting friend requests from strange women. So.
Oh yeah, I don't get much strength in me.
She told the truth there. I don't know if y'all heard that or not.
No, I know I'm friends
we
with
heard
her.
it.
Well, I've got to put this camera up, because I don't have one out, and apparently we got a couple bear moving through here on the farm. So
Tell her
after messing up my
I guess I didn't. I just sent her a friend request.
You heard that? Brett said he just sent you a friend request.
Well, I might wait about 3 weeks before I.
Did y'all hear that?
Put you on the back burner. Yeah.
Oh, me.
Put you on the back burner.
Y'all see what I put up with all the time?
What is my wife?
That's the reason I have to plan trips to New Mexico.
Your wife says,
plan trips to
2
Islands
hours. Come
County.
home.
Wow. Guys, I'm going to have to call it quits.
Well, Mama's calling you home.
Well, yeah, and with time change and everything, and it's ridiculous what we do here. But
Well,
Not me.
do y'all do
I'm
time
same
change in New
time.
Mexico?
yeah, we just rolled back an hour.
Yeah, I hate it. We did too. I hate it. I wish they'd just leave time alone. I
Yeah,
don't care which one they put it on. Just put it on one of them and leave it alone.
leave it. I mean, I've always kind of liked it. Not, it was more of a signal of the change of seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was raised
Well,
with it.
so's the turning of the leaves. Just leave it alone. Just
Yeah,
leave the time alone.
no, I understand, but still,
I will tell
Seen
y'all
that.
this. I've got some good YouTube news. I'm over 1,600 subscribers now.
and you don't even make any
My-
videos.
It all goes back to that one video. So that's what I'm trying to do is get some wild game. Now I started hunting
All I hear
today.
is talking. Brett, you hear talking, Brett?
Hey, my channel's doing good though. Like it goes back to that one original video. So I'm trying to get some wild game to get started. I got to go back to work tomorrow night, but I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'd have to look. I think it's just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I plan on Friday and Saturday hunting pretty hard and trying to get some venison in the cooler.
So the only time you're ever going to make a video is when you kill something, you can cook it.
No, but I'm trying to get that done right now.
There's other things you could do in the meantime, though, isn't there?
Yes. Yes, there is.
I'm trying to figure out what. I'm really trying to figure out what and trying to stay in that wheelhouse because those others are just not getting enough view time. Nobody cares about them.
What others?
They care about
The ones he just made.
the stuff on everything I've done on the grill this summer. Nobody cares about it.
Well, maybe it's just the way you did it.
I didn't do
Look
it
at
any
George
different,
being
I
real
don't think.
quiet up there. He's like, oh, thank God it's not me. You're next, George. You just stay there.
I know I haven't been out lately.
Consistency,
So-
consistency.
Yeah.
But my channel is growing no joke. Wednesday night at 10:30 because I took a picture, took a screenshot. Wednesday night at 10:30 it was, and because it had been growing rapidly and I wanted to keep up with it was 14:15, and sometime today it was like 16:25. So I felt like that was pretty good growth.
Oh yeah, it's real good growth.
And I actually,
Be
when I
double that.
monetized my channel, when I monetized my channel, for some reason, I guess it was monetized, but nothing got turned on, so I wasn't earning any money. I started
You have to
earning
turn
money.
it on.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do that, and apparently, I just got to looking and seeing, and it was I turned it on, and I've started actually earning now. So
I have some really, for this channel, for the interviews channel, I have some really cool stuff coming up. I mean, I don't want to say anything right now, but it'd be big time stuff for me. And dadgummit, I if anybody knows somebody who would like to sponsor it and like to have their name, their business, whatever, a call out. Oh, like I do. I forgot to do it this time.
Oh, yeah, you better throw that up there.
Yeah. This right here. Our sponsors. See? So if anybody wants any part of that, they need to contact me, because these are places I have to go. I have to travel, and cost me money. But it'd be, I mean, what kind of value is it for somebody to have? I mean, I bet it'll at least over a year time will have 40,000, 50,000 eyes on it. So that's got some kind of value to it. But if the hound hunting community doesn't want to support anything like that, then I'll just move along. That's all you can do.
Onward and upward.
That's it. Because that's,
Hey, I did order me one of those hoodies. That was a really good looking design.
Really, the same
Yeah.
guy that made that little advertisement that I just showed made that graphic for me.
I really like that. I mean, being a Christian, that's a pretty good little
Saying,
slogan too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. It says onward and upward. So, I really like that. I ordered me one of those. I don't know where Nicholas is at. We got to get on Nicholas because I ordered a couple of books off him and I ain't never got them.
Oh,
He's busy.
he's busy working,
Whoa.
making
He's
money.
busy. Yep. He's always dabbling in something. George, when's your video coming out? You're not getting out of it. You're not getting away.
I know. I've been getting on myself lately. My only excuse is I've just been in the woods making videos way too much. I've about got enough videos stocked up for all of next year.
I'm gonna say he's probably made 30 more extras that he's got to get out.
So
if I get up there,
yeah.
If I get up there with him and we have a successful hunt, so I can go ahead and put my video out, he's gonna have to put his video out too. We can't have him coming out a year and a half later.
I think honestly, I've been thinking about it. I think I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead and start putting up like fall videos, just because we're in the fall.
Yep.
And then kind of just keep it seasonal. I mean, if I can stay a year ahead and just stay the same season we're in, I think people will relate to it a lot better.
A year ahead.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Of course, if he did have my video, a year behind, it would boost mine, wouldn't it? It would give it another kick in the hind end when it come around.
Maybe.
True.
Maybe.
All right.
Alrighty.
That's it, guys. Thank you. I enjoyed it. I was kind of tired tonight, but I enjoyed it. Till next time. We'll see what's going on. What's going on next week? I don't even know. But maybe we'll get another guest on here or something. I was kind of worried about Otis's, because it seemed like the audio was terrible. We just didn't have very good connection or anything. But through the comments and everything, everybody loved it. They really enjoyed having him on there.
Yeah.
So I need to do a little test thing with Mr. Jarman, because I think you talked to Mr. Jarman, didn't you, George? Did he call you?
Yes, sir. But yes, I did talk to him. It's been a good while, but we had a good long chat.
Real nice man, real knowledgeable man. I'd like to get him on here. He's in the same deal as Mr. Llewellyn. He'd be fun to talk to. So,
right.
Anybody else has any ideas like that? Somebody that's capable to get on and has a good story, send me a email or message or contact one of us. So.
Yep.
I'd like to get my buddy on here one night. He's a really good houndsman, and he's hunted in New Mexico and been successful bear hunting in New Mexico, and he's been to Utah with his own hounds trying to cat hunt. And
cool. Who is that?
But he's one of my friends, Seth Anderson. I work with him We work together, but he's the one that's been to Chama and hunted before, and we're kind of kicking the idea around of maybe coming back out to Chama next fall
Cool.
and bear hunting. So
Yeah. Whoever, and I see Res Hounds is here again. Calvin. If I'd have seen him earlier, we might have brought him on for a little while, get a little status report. But next time, Calvin, show up earlier. Let us know you're here.
Say something.
Yeah, raise your
I
hand.
wonder if he was trying to get an elk the other day when I talked to him, and he'd missed it. So, and then I think he got bull rushed by everybody that was in the area that heard the shot. So,
Oh no. Oh well.
Dad said one of these days, if it's just a small group of us, or if I can't be here, he said he'll hop in and chat with y'all just
Oh,
for a
that'd
little
be
bit.
great. I'd
Yep.
enjoy that. Huh.
So,
Cool.
I'm
Yeah.
a little worried about what he might say about me, but
Oh, don't worry. We won't ask
Oh,
you
I'm
too
sure.
many questions about you.
That could be fun.
oh,
Cool.
man.
All righty.
Guys, thank you. Till next time.
Sounds
will.
good. Thank everybody for coming,
Yes, sir.
watching, listening.
Onward and
Well, wait.
upward. It's a
Adios.
watchword.